said yesterday he's going to be up in the press box for games, at least to start the year on Saturday. So it's kind of a two-part question, I guess. But what sort of logistical communication things does that present if Kerry's going to be on the sideline, if he's going to be calling plays, I suppose? And then did you want Kerry down there, I guess, in part for his personality and being more around the players?
We just talked about, first off, you always want to have somebody who can recognize what's going on in the front end, and then somebody who can recognize what's going on in the secondary and the back end. And I think that, Greg can recognize things really, really fast. He can see things from up there. He can make adjustments and call things really quickly. And, between he and Kerry, I think the communication will be really good. They'll call the game and make sure that, we're into the right defense and make adjustments quickly. I think Matt Barnes can really see the back end well. I think it will be good to have Kerry down there for some of the younger secondary guys that, that maybe haven't played as much. I think that's going to play into this as well. So, we'll kind of just analyze it after the first week and see where we're at.
All righty, next up, Clay Hall.
Hey, Coach. Actually, a question from the news side. I know how vigilant you are about COVID. They're wondering, because Nebraska is on that travel advisory list, any concerns about them coming here?
Well, I think, we're following the Big Ten protocols and the daily testing, and because of the dashboard and because we're able to recognize and share information between universities, that's giving us all certainly a peace of mind, and it's all transparent. And just like us, we test on a daily basis, and Ohio Stadium is some of the strictest protocols there are in the state and around the country. So because of that, I think that, we're in a good place.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Bill Landis from The Athletic. Bill.
Ryan, I know you guys aren't staying in the Blackwell like normal, but will the players be staying just in their normal apartments on Friday nights? And then on Saturdays, what are the protocols in terms of interaction with their family members after the game?
Yeah, we've really recommended pretty strongly that their parents, really try to keep their distance. From what we've learned from other schools, is that, when family and friends come to see them play, and I know it's very difficult, but after the game, when they all get together, it's just more exposure. It's more of an opportunity for people to come in, and if one person has it, then all of a sudden we're creating a problem. And so we're asking for, not that we can force them to, but we're asking for them to really help, and by really keeping their distance and not going over and spend time with them after the game in their apartments and things like that. And we are going to be staying at a hotel the night before the game, and I'm going to try to do the best we can to isolate these guys and do what's right. But it's going to be different, but I also think it's going to be good. We're going to spend more time in the Woody, which is the best place to be. It's the safest place to be on Friday nights, and then Saturday morning leading up to the game.
Thanks.
All righty, next up, Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Yes, Ryan, Thayer Munford yesterday talked about how he had to gut it out last year, coming back from the back surgery and not being able to lift and all that stuff. How impressed are you with how he gutted it out, and what do you expect from him this year?
Well, he really didn't have much of an offseason because of that back injury. And the way that he played was pretty remarkable, in my opinion, based on he really didn't have the offseason to get stronger. But he found a way, which goes to show you his resilience. This offseason, he's really done a great job getting strong. He's had a whole offseason to get himself to where he needs to be. And so I think because of that, you'll see a different player this season.
Thanks, Ryan.
All righty, next up, Brendan Gulick from Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. Brendan.
Hey, Coach, there's obviously a lot that goes on game day. You're responsible for a lot. There's probably a lot of things that are kind of spinning around you. How do you take a few minutes to yourself to recognize and appreciate, especially at a season opener, hey, we're here and I do love this, I do enjoy this, and now I get to go do what I want to do and what I've been working for?
Yeah, this offseason has given us as coaches more time than ever to self-reflect. And somebody asked me a couple of years ago, when do you get time for yourself? And a couple of years ago, I thought to myself, really never. Because you're around the players, you're coaching. When you're home, you're with your family, which is great. But when are you actually by yourself? And this off season has really been an opportunity to spend a lot of time, in reflection. And certainly the last couple of months when, I'm not staying in the house with the family, there's been a lot of reflection. But as we get closer, it's really, you get in the moment and you just get focused on the game plan. You get focused on the players. You get focused on preparing and making sure everything's right going into the game. And it's like anything else, once you're into the game, you kind of forget about everything. And I would argue that that's kind of the way during game week, because your practice has to be so good. And I think that's, I've mentioned that before, is that Tuesday and Wednesday are just as important as Saturday, because that you put the work in to make sure those things look right. So we're in it now, and the focus is on the game, and we're kind of in our work. And then once the season's done, we'll get back to reflecting on it.
Thanks.
Next up, Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Dan.
Hey, Ryan, you've talked a lot about just the managing expectations going into this game and trying to block them out. Just how well do you feel like your players are doing that in terms of staying focused on the task at hand?
I mean, I think they're doing well, but you don't know until you get into it. We'll see. But I think that's a very important thing. I think that our guys can't try to win a championship on Saturday. Justin Fields can't try to win the Heisman Trophy on Saturday. It doesn't work that way. And I know everybody wants to do that, but we gotta win this game. And that starts with the first drive. That starts with the first snap. And then we just keep building from there. And we have to throw all expectations out the window. Stop with that. It's not fair. It's not right to these kids. We got to make sure we're taking care of business. And there's going to be good plays. There's going to be bad plays, but you just keep getting stronger. You keep getting better, and you play, and you figure out where this game goes, and you adjust and move, and then you build.
All righty, next up, Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch. Joey.
Ryan, yesterday Greg Madison talked a little bit about Pete Warner and his move to Will, and said that he thought it frees him up to help out with the run a little more. Does that help in particular this year, where you have some new defensive tackles, and especially coming out of the gate?
I think so. Yeah, I think their recognition between he, Tough, Barron, Justin Hilliard has really been good. Their diagnosing of plays, they see things fast. They communicate well. I think that's really, really big.
All righty, next up, we'll go to Jared Smalley. Jared.
Hi, Ryan. Hope you can hear me okay.
Yep.
A question about procedural stuff on game day in the stadium. I know you've probably watched a significant amount of football, both college and pro, where the coaches are trying to figure out how to operate their mask and how to communicate effectively. It's been a problem. There's been fines levied because of it. Have you actually researched it? Have you tried different masks to figure out what you can wear that will help you do your job without, worrying about those elements of it?
No, I have, and that's why we've been in the stadium the last 3 weeks trying to figure that part of it out, communicating on the headset. It is not ideal, because when you say something in the heat of the battle that sounds alike, you can get your team sideways really fast. Something that sounds one way, but coach, I thought you said this, and the signal goes in, and all of a sudden you got a bad play on your hands. So the easy thing to do is just drop your mask down and just say it to make sure it's right, because you just can't afford to get this wrong on third and short. But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we'll get those masks up for everybody. We're doing the best we can to make sure that we're following all the protocol.
And because of that, have you had to change any of your game day practices in terms of communication, your signaling, maybe going to some nonverbal stuff, just to kind of alleviate that potential headache?
Not really. The way that we operate actually bodes well for this environment.
All righty, next up, Austin Ward from Letterman Row. Austin.
Ryan, seemed like quite a coincidence that both the freshman QBs got the stripe off on the same day.
Why is that?
I don't know. They really just went through camp, and at the same time they both earned their right for to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is an ongoing competition. It's if it was a spring and a preseason and a body of work, then I think it would be fair to say one's in front of the other. It's just too early. You just don't know, and so this thing's going to continue to kind of progress as the season goes on, and we'll see where we're at, game in and game out. But these guys need to learn the system. They need to get reps under their belt. The other thing is they got to learn what it's like to be the quarterback at Ohio State. It's not like most places. You don't have the luxury of going in there and having a bad game or having a bad play. It's just not going to work that way at Ohio State. And so that's part of the maturity process that both of those guys are learning. And they're getting better, and that's what's exciting to see.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, got time for two more. We'll go to Dave Biddle from 247 Sports, and then wrap it up with Tony Gerdeman. Dave.
Hi, Ryan. Is Antoine Jackson a guy that really needs to step up for you guys at defensive tackle? And just what are your expectations for Antoine now that he's a fifth-year senior?
Yeah, to bring some veteran play to the table. He has been around a lot. He's talented. He's going to have to step up in a big way and take on a lot of snaps and be a guy that, you know, we can really count on and be durable throughout the whole season. It's going to be an 8-game run, you know, in the regular season, and he's going to have to be a big part of that and be a staple inside for us. It's going to be very important and directly affect, you know, the success of our defense.
Thank you.
All right, and the final question goes to Tony Gerdeman from Buckeye Scoop. Tony.
Ryan, just wondering how Marcus Williamson closed out things, or he's closed out camp, and how comfortable you feel with him in that role, which is very important for your defense.
No, he's finished well. He's finished really how he started, which is strong. And we feel comfortable playing him. Been impressed with the way he's handled himself. He's again, this is a guy who's been in the program now for a while, and I think it's really showing. He's developed in a big way. He's matured in a big way, and we're expecting him to be a big part of our defense.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you for your time. Appreciate it, and we'll talk to you after the game Saturday.
All right, guys.
Thanks.